Good day, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us today for our webinar, Career Quandries, Learn How the Ivy Exec Mentor Network Can Help. My name is Mariana. I'm with Ivy Exec, and I will be your organizer today. And now I'd like to say a few words about our presenter, Gayle Rigione. As our Chief Content Editor, Gayle spearheads Ivy Exec efforts to consistently deliver high-quality content to our growing community of professionals and employers. She also provides project management support for mission-critical corporate development projects. Gayle brings broad and deep corporate and nonprofit management experience to the Ivy Exec team. Prior to joining Ivy Exec, Gayle spent 15 years in diverse relationship management and consulting roles at MasterCard International, where she was direct report to the CEO, working on strategic projects for the Office of the CEO. She also worked at Arthur Andersen Strategic Services, now Accenture, and Bankers Trust Company, now Deutsche Bank, where she covered Fortune 100 companies such as Xerox and North American Philips. Additionally, Gayle has raised significant funding for numerous nonprofit organizations and has served as a director for various nonprofit boards. She received her MBA from Columbia University and her Bachelor of Arts from the UCLA. And with this, I would like to hand it over to Gayle.
I'm very pleased to have the chance to tell you about our unique mentor network. At Ivy Exec, we're obsessive about creating very practical resources for each of you. Just about a year ago, we were feverishly designing the Ivy Exec Mentor Network, trying to design pages, trying to recruit mentors. Today, we connect hundreds of professionals worldwide for focused conversations that are the starting point for relationships. We created the Mentor Network because relationship building across our community is a priority. We strongly believe that these relationships can help propel your careers to new heights. You're all educated, you're all smart, you've got great skills, and you have meaningful experience, and you work really hard. But just where are you in your career? Do career concerns keep you awake at night? Are you where you want to be? Think about these things. Do you know if your career is headed in the right direction? What's it like on the other side if you cross industry lines, moving from investment banking perhaps to the buy side? If you move to a new function within your company, within a new company, if you launch an entrepreneurial venture and start something on your own, how do you get promoted? How do you get that raise? What's politically correct? Are you having a hard time getting off your job search starting block? Do you have no momentum? Maybe you're just too comfortable in your comfort zone or just too afraid of leaving it. These are all questions that might be in your mind, and that this is where a mentor can help. A mentor can help you answer questions that you probably can't answer on your own. The reason this happens or this works is because a mentor has broad-based experience that he or she is willing to share. What is a mentor? A mentor can be a sounding board, an objective listener, a devil's advocate, and a catalyst. I recently interviewed a mentor and a protege for a case study that we're developing. The protege, who actually just accepted a job offer after a 7-month search in Europe, told me or shared with me that she really started her job search with very murky thinking, total lack of clarity. And meeting with her mentor over a 7-month period helped her clarify her thinking, really understand her goals, but more importantly, as a catalyst, her mentor, Gerhard Vanderpool, who works for ING here in New York, as a catalyst, Gerhard helped her gain momentum. She was very comfortable in her job. She really had no reason to leave her job. It's just that she had finished her MBA and she felt there should be something more for her. And so Gerhard, as her mentor, helped her find some momentum and helped her move forward in her search process. The last element that a mentor can provide is a safe zone. Many companies do offer internal mentoring programs, and it's great, but the problem is that they're also internal. So they don't really provide a safe zone where you can question the party line or perhaps work through problems involving a manager or another employee. So they're not really a safe zone where you can open up and be totally honest. And that is the value of an informal mentoring network such as Ivy Exec provides. Who are our Ivy Exec mentors? We've assembled a tremendously diverse group of mentors from a wide range of industries. They're all members, as I said. Many of them are startup founders themselves, or they're senior corporate executives, or often they're senior corporate executives who have gone on to found their own ventures. All of them have 15 to more than 20 years of experience. They're all volunteers, so they're using their personal time to commit to this program. And today we have over 450 mentors that our proteges can select from, and we're actively recruiting more all the time. But I think the one characteristic that unifies all of our mentors is that they all share a belief that they want to give something back, and they all believe that what goes around comes around. They've all had very different mentoring experiences in their own lives. Some have had mentors and have had great relationships with those mentors. Some have not had mentors. Some have had very difficult career experiences and have had no one to guide them through it, and they always wish they'd had someone. So they all do come from different vantage points and from different perspectives. I'd like to introduce you to a few of our mentors from a couple of our different verticals, just to give you an idea of who they are. For example, here you see John Blank. John Blank is an economist with Zacks Investment Research. He's based out in California. John has personally mentored quite a number of proteges for us since we debuted the program last May, and he himself has been a mentor, so he really appreciates the value a mentor can bring. John's actually been the protege of several Nobel Prize laureates in economics, so he really does value being a mentee or a protege, and he actually values the mentoring process. Gerhard, I mentioned earlier. Gerhard's worked with several different proteges, and he works with them over a long period of time, over a 6 or 7 month period, to try and help them think through a whole variety of issues and problems. He's dealt with someone who was trying to get motivated, I mentioned her earlier, and find a job and to develop some momentum and clarify her thinking. He's worked with another individual who's from Singapore, based in New York, and she lost her job after business school, and her visa's running out. And so he's been brainstorming at this time on different approaches she might take to try and quickly find a job and to also try and extend her visa here in this country. So he's had a diversity of proteges, and his somewhat international background, being based here in New York but being from Holland, helps him particularly help candidates who are struggling with some international issues. Other groups, for example, we have outstanding mentors in both technology and in marketing, media, and consumer products, public relations as well. For example, one of the things that's very important is that you read the mentor profiles, which are available to you very carefully. And oftentimes those profiles may be somewhat brief, depends on how much information they've included. So you always have a LinkedIn option at your disposal as well to do further research on mentors you might be thinking about working for, or working with, sorry. Pramuk, he works for Amazon, but that's a recent job change for him. Prior to that, he worked for Microsoft. And so if you're interested in technology, knowing a little bit about the path of the mentor and their own career path and where they've come from and where they are is very helpful. Doug Holloway at the bottom, he's president of Ion Media Networks, multi-channel distribution at this point. But he has experience from NBC Universal and also from Viacom. And Doug's a very interesting mentor. He has the approach that's led to his success in his career, for example, is planning. He's always planned for his career by looking ahead to the end point. Where does he want to end up? It's actually habit number 2 from the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It was a book written by Stephen Covey. And this whole process has worked very well for him. And he's been able to achieve his goals by starting from the end point. Another group of interesting mentors are our mentors in consulting and also in pharmaceuticals and healthcare. For example, Jim Pike, he's principal right now with Bridge Strategy Group, but he brings long experience from McKinsey & Company. And prior to McKinsey, he worked for Enron. So his specialty or his area of specialization is actually energy. As a mentor, he brings a broad range of expertise that he can share with his proteges. Al Miyashita is also in strategy consulting, but he had a long career at IBM before he went into consulting. And Juan Sante, who's country general manager in Argentina for Baxter Pharmaceuticals, well, he had a long career that involved tours of duty at Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson. So he's worked for huge pharmaceutical companies. So it's important to spend some time looking through the profiles and Googling these people and doing a little research on LinkedIn to make sure that you really understand their backgrounds, because the current title and the current company affiliation sometimes doesn't tell the whole story. There's much, much more to these professionals who've enjoyed very, very long careers. I wanted to give you a very brief overview of our process. It's not too complicated. It breaks down into three things. First, you need to find a mentor. Then there's a matching process involved that actually matches you with a mentor. And then you start your conversation. Step 1 is selecting your mentor. When you select a mentor, you have an opportunity to browse our search page, and we ask that you choose, here it says up to 5 mentors, but we'd like you to choose even more, between 5 and 8. And then we ask you to create an agenda so that we use that as a basis for pairing you with a mentor. Then the matching process happens. And yes, we're a very large company these days. We have a community with over 200,000 professionals. But our matching process is very customized and very individualized. It's a hands-on, individualized process that I work through, and my co-manager, Andrea Primati, works on as well. So there's a person at Ivy Exec who actually reviews the matches and makes them. It's not some computer-driven model that tries to get it right. The third step in the process is actually having a conversation. And, you know, sometimes the logistics can be a little bit challenging to set up that conversation, but that's what we're here for in terms of helping you connect and figure out exactly how you want to hold that conversation and then holding it. So I want to do a little bit deeper dive into selecting mentors, because selecting mentors needs to be a very mindful process. You need to think about, first and foremost, about where you want to take your career. What assets do you have that you can leverage? What might be blocking your efforts? Is it people? Is it approach? Is it style? And then what experience or accomplishment mix in a mentor might provide you with some insights that you can learn from and leverage. Here's our search page. This is a very key page, a fundamental page to the whole mentor search process. It's from this page that you can access all of the mentor profiles and learn more about this potential person you might meet with. Let's start at the top. If you take a look at the top, you'll see 8 boxes. Right now, there's just avatars filling them. But as you click through and make some mentor selections, the mentors' faces will fill these boxes at the top so that you can keep track of how many mentors you've identified that you might like to meet with. when you hover over these pictures, you can get a quick snapshot of who they are and where they're from. And if you double-click, you can do a deeper dive into their very detailed profiles. But the critical component of this whole page, beyond the mentor information that's contained there, is the filter results button. Because through filtering, that's the way you'll be able to narrow down your choices from over 400 mentors and find the mentors that might really work for you. First, we'd ask you or require that you filter for a field of expertise. We have 16 different fields of expertise that you can choose among, from strategy consulting, finance, technology, internet, advertising, industrials, manufacturing, public sector, non-profit. When you apply this particular filter, it narrows down the mentor options so that the set of mentors you have to work with is a little more relevant, certainly, and a lot more manageable. Another essential element for filtering and narrowing down your range of mentor possibilities is taking a look or defining your mentorship topics. What exactly do you want to talk to the mentor about? Our mentors each have selected topics they're comfortable addressing. Not every mentor mentors on all topics. Sometimes the mentor might only feel comfortable mentoring on 1 or 2 topics. Some mentors feel more comfortable addressing more of them. But you absolutely need to filter for the topic as well. We have 3 areas of topics because we know that people who use mentoring might be at different places in their careers and definitely have different needs. So there are topics that address the job seeker's challenge, finding that new job. There are topics that address closing the deal when you're in the thick of it and you've actually gotten close to negotiating your terms for the new position, or you need some guidance on polishing your interview skills so that you can put your best foot forward. Or there's the final one, which is actually building your career for the long term, because all of us can use some help at time. How do you negotiate for? How do you position yourself for that next promotion? How do you go about a compensation negotiation? Assuming that you've worked hard and you've done well, and that you're owed a review and a compensation increase. And so having some insightful input from a mentor can really help these types of discussions and help you build your career and grow your career over time. After you've identified your mentors, we'll ask you to put down in writing exactly what your agenda is for your session with that mentor. That's a requirement. And your agenda really needs to be very concise, very clear, and have some thought behind it. Our mentors take a close look at the agendas that you would submit. I think what you need to be aware of is that mentors can accept or decline your request. How do they make that decision? They'll take a look at your field of expertise. For example, if your field of expertise is very different from theirs, they may not think that they have anything to talk to you about. So you need to explain in your agenda why exactly they would have something to talk to you about. For example, if you're trying to move from asset management into internet new media and you've picked an internet new media specialist, you haven't explained well in your agenda why you want to speak with them, they may decline your request. They'll also look at your topic choice. Sometimes they're a little bit more flexible about it. Even if they haven't told us or indicated they work on a topic, they might take you on despite this, but some of them, that would be basis for declining a request. They'll take a hard look at your session agenda. That session agenda indicates to them that you're serious about the meeting and that you've done some homework before the meeting. They'll take a look at your IE profile. Many of them will actually do research on you on LinkedIn. They'll take a look at your resume. And then they'll also, from a personal perspective, take a look at their own work and travel schedule. Sometimes it's just not convenient for a mentor to take on a protege at a given time because they're on overload at work. It may just be a week or two, or it may be a month. But sometimes their schedules just don't allow it. So these are some of the factors that they'll take a look at when they're reviewing your request for mentorship. Of course, we see a lot of very poorly written, bad agendas. I just wanted to give you some do's and don'ts for your agendas. The problem here is that the protege actually identified one of the mentors by name in the agenda. Well, it's quite possible that the agenda that was submitted might be viewed or need to be viewed by 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 mentors on a specific request. So if that agenda has a specific mentor's name on it, we can't show that agenda to any other mentor. And we may need to, because Mary Smith just may not be available when this protege needs to meet. Another issue is asking for a job placement. Where can I find a summer internship? Does your company offer them? This isn't an opportunity for you to ask for a job. You have to keep in mind that you're a complete stranger to the mentor the first time you meet with him or her. They don't know you. They don't even know if they'll click with you. So it really is out of bounds to ask for a job or ask for some type of summer internship in that first discussion. If a relationship grows over time, and it's maybe the third or fourth or fifth discussion with that mentor, maybe you could talk about this topic, and they might have some ideas for you, and they'd have a sense of you as a person. But it's definitely not a topic for the initial meeting. The other things that are taboo for your agendas, asking for access to their personal contacts or their personal network. Again, you're a stranger, so why would they want to open up their personal network to a complete stranger? Asking for referrals into their companies, asking for visa help, help getting a visa into a certain country, because they are not specialists in that type of advice. The things that you do need to do, though, is make sure that your agenda is very specific. You want to make sure that it's very focused and very clear, but you don't want to make it so broad. Requesting help finding a position in strategy consulting, and then the second question on it was seeking input on an entrepreneurial idea. So those were two very separate agendas wrapped into one agenda, and you might need to speak with different mentors for each of those topics. So you need to be very careful about how you craft your agenda. Once you submit your agenda, you'll receive an email from me that confirms that we've received your request for mentorship. And we ask you to be patient with the whole matching process, because it can take some time. If you don't receive this email from me, it's a good idea to reach out to Ivy Exec, because it could well mean that, well, there's two possibilities. Possibly this email went to your spam folder, or worse yet, your request was not actually processed. So you want to make sure that you have this confirmation letter. Then the ball's in our court, and it's our turn to make a match for you. As I mentioned before, the matching process is very individualized, and every request is carefully evaluated. We take a lot of things into consideration, and it does take some time. There's different factors that could impact the matching timeline for you. The agenda quality, or the fit of the mentors selected. If the agenda quality isn't up to par, or you requested mentors that just seemed a bit left of center or right of center, we'll actually have to go back to you and ask you to resubmit your agenda with different mentors, or submit your request with a different agenda or different mentors. Again, mentor availability could cause problems. They might have been matched prior to your request with someone else who requested on the same day, and they could have travel schedules interfering or workload interfering. There's also some mentor preferences, though this is not quite as common. For example, some mentors based in Europe don't necessarily feel that they can give good advice to proteges in the U.S. looking for help entering certain industries. Or sometimes a mentor in Canada might prefer really to help proteges from Canada. Or mentors may prefer to work with professionals who are a little further along in their career path, or contrary to that, might prefer to work with professionals who are just starting out. So there are, even though it's not widespread, there are certain mentor preferences that we also try to take into account when we make a match. Once we've made a match, the mentor is going to offer you some times for a session, and it's very important that you confirm your session. And it's your opportunity now to start communicating with your mentor. This page we're looking at right now is also found on our website, and this is called the My Mentors page. And this is like your command central. This is your relationship management page, and from this page you can do a lot of things. You can confirm your session, you can send an in-mail message to your mentor, you can review your session agenda, and you can also request a reschedule if the timing that was proposed doesn't work for you. So this is a very powerful page, and over time, as you have more mentors, this page will have a record of each mentor that you've met with. This would be the confirmation page for confirming your schedule. And an important point here to keep in mind is that if you do not reply within 4 days, your entire request will be canceled, and you'll have to resubmit a request. You'll receive 3 emails from us, a bit of a tap on the shoulder trying to have you or requesting you to confirm your session. So after 3 tries, it's 3 strikes and you're out, so your request will be canceled. So you want to make sure that Ivy Exec is recognized as a safe sender to your email inbox. You want to make sure that I'm recognized as a safe sender to your email inbox, so you'll see our matching letters, our matching emails when they arrive. You can reschedule too, and that's a very simple process. All you need to do is send a note to your mentor, and they'll propose some new times or dates for a session that are a little more convenient for you. And then it's up to you to start the conversation. The day before your session, you'll receive an email from me with your mentor's direct email address, and it's at that point where you can start emailing directly, because you'll have a couple decisions to make. You can use the contact method of your choice for your session. You can use the phone, Skype, Google Chat, FaceTime, or you can use our Ivy Exec platform, which will be available to you. This platform can be accessed from your My Mentors page that we just saw, and this is a screenshot of what it actually looks like in a live session. So this is always an option as well. So that when you receive that email from me the day before your session, it's important that you connect directly with your mentor and figure out these last-minute logistics for your session. Some additional thoughts. These are important thoughts from the perspective of building a relationship. It's really important to acknowledge your mentor formally, to send a note. Maybe that's a bit old-fashioned, but the note's just important because it shows that you appreciated the time your mentor invested, particularly given that mentors are just volunteers. Please respect your mentor's privacy. Yes, you do have his direct email address at this point. You have the ability to message by in-mail, but that doesn't give anyone a license to harass a mentor. You can request one session per month through our program. You can request the same mentor or a different one. What we see is we see two types of mentoring relationships in our system. We see relationships that tend to be a little more transactional, where you might meet once with a mentor and take what you can learn from that mentor, and the next month you might want to request a different one to get a different perspective. And then we see a more traditional form of mentoring evolving as well, where these are relationships. And so the proteges will ask time and time again for the same mentor to and we see that those relationships evolving over time and being very full and mutually enjoyable relationships for both parties. And the important thing is as well to maintain your all-access membership level while you're taking advantage of the program. Andrea and I are here to help you, and we can be reached anytime at these email addresses if you have questions. We work very closely to cover the program. I mean, you can think of us as pretty much as joined at the hip, right hand, left hand as we work through the program and try to develop it. And we're very much hoping that we'll see your requests coming through, and we'll be able to make matches for you very soon. Because we believe a mentor can propel your career to new heights. And I'd like to open it up for questions.
Okay, Gayle, thanks so much. We have a lot of questions, and I hope the attendants will keep them coming because we still have a lot of time to address all of them. The first one that came in is do your mentors help people who are older and more experienced? When I think of mentoring, I think of it being for people starting out in their careers.
Okay, I'll tackle that one. Andrea is also on the line, so she'll be handling some questions as well. But this first question I'll handle. Our proteges are at all stages and points in their careers. We have people coming out of business school programs who are trying to figure out what their first step should be. We have people who are very, very deep into their careers who are questioning where they are and where they really want to be at that point in their career. So we see all different kinds of proteges at all different points in their career, and actually a mentor can help. That mentor is it's someone who is a sounding board. They have no skin in the game. They can be relentlessly honest with you. They're going to be open with you and straight with you. They're not going to give you answers. They're going to give you guidance, and they're going to help you find the answers within yourself. And I don't think there's anyone among us who hasn't faced a career challenge or a career quandary at some point in our careers, and at all stages of our careers, whether we're early on, mid-stage, or late stage. So yes, mentoring is for everyone regardless of where in the career you find yourself.
Okay, here's the next one. There are so many mentors and descriptions. Do you offer any matching services versus my having to review the all and choose a handful?
Andrea, would you like to handle that one?
So thank you for asking. It's just once you go to mentorship and then search mentors, you'll be able to just filter through mentors to what we have to offer. And really the best way is to view full bio of the mentor and then just go through the biographies and see if there is anything that could be interesting to you. We're currently working on enabling our users to search for to use multiple filtering options based on location, experience, industries, functions, etc. But until such time, I think the best way to tackle this would be just to dig deeper into your mentor's full biography.
Thanks, Andrea. Here's the next one. Can we choose two mentors if I'm searching job in two different fields, consulting and R&D?
I'm assuming that the person meant for the same request, and yes, you can, but you're going to have to tie it together in your agenda. For example, you might have one set of questions you might want to go through with the R&D person, and another set of questions you would really cover with the consulting person. So somehow you have to bridge it in your agenda. You have to make your agenda clear enough so that when the consulting person takes a look at your agenda and is trying to decide whether or not they want to work with you, they'll feel a connection. They'll be able to see, I see why this person has asked for me. I think I can help this person. Because first and foremost, and I've heard this from all the mentors I've spoken with since we began recruiting them last May, actually it was last March, March 2012, they want to add value. And their biggest fear sometimes is that they'll spend an hour with a protege and they won't feel and won't see that they've been able to add any value to help move that person along or move that person to a different place. And so that's why the field of expertise match is really important, because they're going to be seeking in your agenda to see why exactly does this person want to meet with me? Why do they want to spend an hour of time with me? So if you can bridge it in your agenda, then by all means, ask for mentors from different fields of expertise, but that agenda is going to be particularly critical.
Thanks, Gayle. The next question is confidentiality maintained between mentor and the mentee?
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. We at Ivy Exec, we have no idea other than what mentors or proteges share with us about what happens in that conversation or what issues are tackled. So that is a totally opaque situation for us. We're very grateful actually when mentors and proteges give us some insights into what was covered or what type of help was given, because it helps us develop the program further to better meet needs. But no, that is strictly confidential. And that's actually the beauty of this informal mentoring network, because it's far enough away from the workplace that, say for example, you're struggling with a really awful manager and you just don't know how to work with this person or how to survive this person. And it'd be pretty hard sometimes to deal with that issue with an internal mentor at your company. Because you always, within your company, you need, your reputation is very important, your reputation for teamwork, your reputation for getting along with people. It just may not be a topic you could deal with internally, and so that's why this informal network is very valuable, because it is confidential, and it is just far enough away from your day-to-day to give you the security that you need to open up and really address those things that might be blocking your advancement.
Perfect. The next question, should a criteria for selection be proximity?
Well, my reaction is no, and I'll tell you why. This network is not set up for face-to-face meetings or sessions. It really is handled remotely. There have been some cases over the past year where mentors and proteges have clicked, and there has been the occasional one-off face-to-face meeting by chance, but that's not the underlying design of the program. From the actual mentoring process itself, that's not critical. However, if you are seeking to relocate and move to a new area, and you're trying to get the lay of the land, say for example of the financial services industry in Los Angeles, then you might want to be applying your own screen for geography. At this point we don't have a filtering capability for geography, and that is in the works because it's a frequently requested filter. But that would be a useful thing for you to do, because all of our mentor locations are listed.
Okay, the next question. I have a scheduled first session coming up. My mentor asked me for a copy of my resume but did not give me an email address. I sent him that comment. Isn't Ivy Exec giving the mentor's profile info on us?
You want to
I can
handle that,
tackle this
Andrew?
one.
Yeah, please.
Yes.
Please jump in.
Okay, no problem. So thank you for asking this. As you have your My Mentors page, mentors actually have My Proteges page under Mentorship tab. So whenever we make a solid match, mentor has the ability to view and download your resume if he or she only clicks on your name. So on this particular page, mentor can see your educational and professional experience as well. But if you'd be so kind, you can always email me your mentor's name, and I can make sure that he or she receives your resume. I can contact directly.
Thanks, Andrea. The next one. How many mentors can you have?
Well, you can meet with a mentor once a month for the duration of your all-access membership. So, conceivably, you could request a different mentor every month and have quite an array of mentors accessible to you. Or you might take a more relationship approach and keep working with the same mentor. But that's really your decision or your call in terms of how you want to approach the mentoring process. But it's once a month.
Can you create more than one agenda if you're requesting different mentors?
Andrea, do you want to handle?
Sure. Well, your agenda is very tied down to your request. So if you're considering just well, of course, the process is like that you have to request no less than 5 mentors to submit their request, but definitely your agenda should be unique, and it should, let's say, it should contain questions that are very general and that could be applied to each and every mentor that you have chosen. And of course, once you've had your session, you can always request the same or different mentors with a different agenda. But agenda should be unique to the request.
Perfect. The next question. How do I become a mentor myself? What is the selection process?
Oh, that's a question I love to receive because we're always very eager to recruit more mentors to the network. I'd certainly love to, you can contact me directly at my email address, and I can send you information, after the session. But on our website, we have an about the program page that is resident under mentorship on your dashboard. And if you click on the About the Program page, you'll see a discussion about becoming a mentor for the program. And you can, there's a button that you can click to apply to become a mentor. What criteria do we look at in terms of selecting mentors? We look at obviously the industry that mentor is getting a lot of static. And we also look at the years of experience. We're looking for a minimum of 15 or more years of experience. But from a accomplishment standpoint, we're also looking for a clear progression career-wise over that 15, 20 plus year period. So we want to see a very clear progression, successive levels of responsibility, diving into new ventures and new things, so a clear progression. Our strong preference is to have mentors who are employed at the time they begin mentoring for us. That's not to say that while they are a mentor, jobs might not come or go. That does happen, and that's fine, but our strong preference is to have employed mentors when they begin working with the program.
Thanks, Gayle. Here's the next question.
I do want to add just one thing too, though. you know, in terms of unemployment at the time of mentoring, that's not necessarily a terrible thing for the program or for us, because we believe that it also adds an element of understanding from the mentor's perspective. If it's been a terribly long time since a mentor has had to look for a job or has had to move into some different type of situation, they sometimes get or might be a little bit disconnected from the process. So there can be some real value from a mentor who isn't presently employed or has recently switched jobs, because they are very in tune with what some of you might be going through in terms of your own job search struggles. So there can be a real positive from that type of status.
Perfect. The next question, we still have a few more minutes. If I'm switching careers between two fields, are there specific mentors who I can pick just for the switch, or do I pick, say, 4 from each field?
I'm trying to think if I understand the question clearly. Would it be picking mentors from the old field you'd be leaving and mentors in the new field you'd like to switch to?
No, actually the main question is, you know, if someone is looking to switch careers, and let's say he wants to switch careers, but he has 4 other options. Can he select just one person that can be applicable to the switch, or does he have to select, you know, one mentor for each of the fields of interest?
I think that you really, I mean, the field of interest kind of drives it. So if you're thinking of switching into, say you're trying to move from strategy consulting into something entrepreneurial, right? You really would want to choose mentors who are entrepreneurs themselves and who could give you a perspective of what it's like to be an entrepreneur. There's a couple topics that would actually lend themselves to this type of discussion. One would be switching careers and gears, which is one of our topics. And a second topic that could lend itself to would be, for example, you'd be moving into entrepreneurship, so you can select the topic of entrepreneurship. And then there's a third topic, too, that's very suitable for people who are contemplating a career switch or an industry switch, and that would be market, industry, and insights. A lot of the mentors who mentor on this particular topic have very, very broad-based perspective, because they themselves have crossed industry lines and switched around a bit. So, you know, this would be a bit more like an informational interview if you were asking for market, industry, and insights. So that would be my suggestion.
Thanks, Gayle. The next one. How successful is this if you don't meet with the mentors more than once? Mentors typically help people with their careers on an ongoing basis.
Well, you can meet with the mentors once a month as long as you have all access membership. So it wouldn't be limited to just one meeting at all. You could have a series of meetings over time.
Okay, thanks. Mentors that are currently unavailable, how long until they are available?
Okay, let me, do you want to address that one, Andrea?
Sure, Gayle. Well, just how this works is that whenever we make a solid match between a mentor and a protege, then the mentor appears grayed out on mentor's page, of course. So this is one scenario. The second scenario would be that, let's say a mentor has 2 hours per month, basically 2 sessions per month to devote to mentorship. And if the mentor already had those 2 hours, let's say in March, then mentor would not be available to take you on in the current month. But you can always request a mentor in April. So how this works, let's say in the first scenario, I would try again in about 10 days. And well, in both cases, I would try in about, let's say, 5 6 to 10 days to see if my mentor becomes available again. Or let's say you can always contact us directly and we'll do our best to find out which of those scenarios is the case.
Perfect. The next question. How long do you think it will be until you have the location filter active?
Andrea, do you have a view on that? I know it's under development.
Yes, it is. It's a tricky one, to be honest. I'd expect till the end of this month.
Okay, thanks. And the final question for today is, what is the cost of the service, of the mentoring service?
Okay, I'll cover this one. Gayle?
Yeah, go. No, please, Andrea.
No, this service is free of charge. It is absolutely it's a part of your All Access subscription. So as long as you have an All Access premium subscription within Ivy Exec, you can be a part of mentorship and request mentors each and every single month.
Perfect. I'm sorry, I missed one more question. I hope we'll still have time to answer it. What is the usual percentage success of these matchups?
Gayle, take the lead.
Sure. I'm trying to understand how your how success is being defined here in terms of our success rate in terms of actually making a match. You know, we pretty much are successful matching everyone. Where it falls apart is when we request more information from a protege and they don't provide it. So we can't work any further on the match, or when the protege doesn't respond and confirm a time with a mentor. So that's where it kind of where we fail because the protege hasn't taken a necessary step. But we are able to find matches for everyone within the system. Some take a little bit more work than others, but we are highly successful. Now, if you're looking at success rate in terms of actually helping, giving real fundamental help to proteges, I guess I don't have concrete data to support that, but we have an awful lot of quotes and testimonials and positive feedback from, very pleased proteges and very pleased mentors, because you have to remember that mentoring, it's not just a one-way street, it is a real 360-degree process. So the mentors are excited about the opportunity to network and they learn from their proteges as well. So we have, many, quotes and emails from very pleased and satisfied proteges and mentors. So if you could measure success on that basis, I think we're headed in the right direction with this program.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Gayle. At the moment, I think we've answered all the questions that came in. I would like to, let all our attendees know that if they do have any additional questions or if they're interested in the mentoring network, if they're interested either to become mentors or schedule one-on-one session with the mentor, please feel free to contact us at Ivy Exec. Both Gayle and Andrea will be more than happy to assist and help out with matching process. Again, I would like to thank you, Gayle, for the great presentation, and thanks, Andrea, for jumping in with answers. I hope you liked the presentation, and I would like to thank all our attendees for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you very much, and contact us if you'd like answers or need some help.
Thanks so much, Gayle, and
thank you.
Good day, everybody. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.